Clocks spring forward an hour for most Canadians this weekend. And while the change may seem harmless, the statistics show that you are 10% more likely to have a car accident on the Monday after the time change. With more on the health impact of sleep loss, we're joined by Dr. Adam Moskovich, Medical Director of the Sleep and Fatigue Institute. You've studied this for a long time. Tell me about the health effects of losing that hour, of going back or going forward.
Well, the health effects are huge, and we really don't fully appreciate it. The sad part is that about 10 to 15% of our society is sleep deprived, which is becoming a significant problem. A recent survey looked at the impact of sleep deprivation on stroke incidence, and found that individuals in the middle-age category and older that sleep less than 6 hours, which is very common in our society, are at 4 times increased risk for a stroke.
4 times more likely to have a stroke. Wow.
Now, the same people in the same age group essentially have a double whammy, because they're also much more likely to have a very common heart condition, which is called atrial fibrillation, which is irregular heartbeat, and that increases the risk of stroke by about 3 to 5 times.
What is it that sleep gives us to make us less at risk?
Sleep gives us a lot. Sleep, if you get, it's not only the number of hours of sleep, but it's also the quality of sleep.
How deep that sleep is.
And the importance is to get the right number of hours, the right quality, and also make sure that you don't have an underlying sleep disorder. For example, sleep apnea, which is one of the most common heart conditions, or most common sleep disorders, problem with breathing.
Stop breathing. Yeah.
Some patients stop breathing 800 times a night, not knowing it. Again, sleep apnea is a key risk factor for atrial fibrillations, and in individuals that had a stroke, it actually impacts the recovery. So, talking about stroke specifically in relation to this topic, the key message is that individuals should be talking to their family physician about what is the best way to protect their brain, in particular from what we call ischemic strokes. And there is also more information available on the website that is called strokeandaf.ca.
Okay, well, we'll get a link on our website so that people can do this. This is all interconnected. And we're talking about this because we spring forward 1 hour, and we wonder, well, 1 hour, does it really? But on one night's sleep, it's not just 1 hour, is it?
But for some individuals, it is a chronic problem. Most Canadians actually lose 1 hour of sleep, in particular with the springing forward in the spring. So the message there is also, as far as dealing with it, go to bed 1 hour earlier, work on light exposure first thing in the morning, in the first few days after the shift of the clock, so your body clock gets shifted into the right direction. The effect of that 1 hour change can last for a whole week. So the other message is, considering the statistic that you mentioned, be particularly careful driving both to work and back from work during the first week of after the change, since the statistics about accident rates is significantly up. Heart attacks are increased by 10% during that particular week. All related, at least by association, to the clock change.
So the best thing we do in the short term is prepare for it right now, Thursday, and just start edging your clock and making sure you go to bed.
Clock, but in particular, before the day before, don't look at it that you are getting an extra hour, you are actually losing an hour. So go to bed earlier, adjust your clock, and be particularly careful, and start appreciating the importance of sleep. You cannot cut corners with it.
You can't. Dr. Moskovich, thank you so much for coming in this morning.
My pleasure. Stay awake.
Will do.